Welcome back to the Matt Fryer Golf Podcast. We are in a different location today and we have a different guest. We have Mr. Alex Thorne from Mizuno, the tour manager. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we are in the city of London, deep in the city where business gets done, and some business is getting done here today. We are talking all things Mizuno. We're actually at a, there's going to be a launch event later, isn't there, for one of the new products. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see a glorious banner with M.Craft X on it. Is that M.Craft X?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
that was the thinking when we came up with that.
Yeah, you've signed Matt Fryer, so we're going to name a putter line after him. I mean, it's impressive, and I didn't expect it, but thank you very much. But yeah, we're going to be talking all things about the new product. That if you haven't seen those, Mizuno have had 5 products come out this January.
Yeah, five products all launched all last week. Yeah.
We've done a little Mizuno quiz to see your knowledge on Mizuno.
On the spot.
Yeah, if you've not done this, and if you're a bit of like a golf geek, by the way, go onto Mizuno's website and go onto the history and heritage page. It's 1920, was it?
Yeah, around there. Yeah, company started in 1906.
1906. Actually, baseball was the first thing randomly, which I never learned.
No.
But if you are, like I say, if you are a bit of a geek and you love diving into the records, go onto this history page because it's fascinating reading. Mizuno made gliders, Al.
We did. Yes, we did. Yeah.
Imagine Nike coming out tomorrow. We're going to make some kites and gliders.
Yeah.
It's just a bit crazy, but yeah, it's well worth a little scroll on there. But we've got a fun episode here for us. We've got the Mizuno quiz coming up. 5 questions to test your knowledge. This could land you in a bit of hot water.
Could be a disciplinary coming up.
Yeah, your P45 in the post. We're going to recap the new products, all 5 of those, after that. And then for those that don't know, we have had Al on a podcast before. You've spent nearly 20 years working out on tour. You've sort of not left it fully, but moved into a slightly different role now, haven't you? But 20 years working with TaylorMade and Mizuno, fitting some of the best players in the world, in the game that has been. So we're going to get some stories about your time on tour. And then, obviously, because you are an expert fitter, we're also going to talk about 3 non-negotiables or 3 things that you should look for when going for a club fitting, specifically a driver we're aiming it at, because I think there's times when a lot of consumers don't go for them, which is just a cardinal sin. And then when they do go there, you can get a little bit bamboozled, a little bit worried about what's going on. Maybe there's too much information flying at you. What is relevant information? What's actually going to help you walk away with the best product? So we're going to get it from one of the best fitters in the world. 3 things that you should be looking for when you're going for an iron. Before we do all that, though, if you haven't already, make sure that you are following us over on the YouTube channel, Matt Fryer Golf Podcast. Hit that subscribe button. Go and check out the Mizuno channel as well, and follow us on all our socials. You'll see those popping up on screen if you are watching us, and if not, it's at Mizuno Golf Europe and at Matt Fryer Golf Podcast and at Matt Fryer Golf. Al, a Mizuno quiz.
Cool there.
5 questions on the history of Mizuno. How many do you think you'll get right? Now, you've got 1 already because I would hope, because we were actually chatting about this in tech. So if you've got a memory quicker than a goldfish, you should get 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. Cool there. We'll pitch 3.
3.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Anything better than that is be happy with.
Play along at home if you are listening as well and watching. Don't be Googling the answers and don't spoil it for everyone in the comments typing them out for us. But first question, Al, this is the one that I hope you get. Mizuno, the first golf club launched and the name of the golf club was what and in what year?
Okay, so the club name was Starline.
Yes.
And I'm going to go 1933.
That is perfect. 1933. It's nearly 100 years.
It is. Yeah.
9 years away.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know this off the top of my head. I know Callaway's not older. Is there any older golf manufacturers?
Not that are still around now.
A Wilson?
I wouldn't have said. Wilson might be there.
Were they like 1906?
Could be.
We'll have to have a look at
Yeah.
that. If you do know in the comments, let us know. But
Yeah.
you've got 1 out of 1.
It's a good start. Strong start.
Good start. Legendary Mizuno staffer won 6 majors in his time. Sonic Faldo.
Yeah.
But when he won the 1996 Masters, which irons did he use to win that major?
Now, that will be TP9s, but I think they were actually a US model, so they would have been MP9.
Oh, that is spot on. That is when
Yeah.
you said TP9, I was like, oh, he's got the number, but he's not got it right. So MP,
Yeah.
which is obviously standing for Mizuno Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and carries on to this day.
Yeah.
2 out of 2.
Not bad, eh?
1 more to get your
one more.
your 3. And then
Then I'm done.
yeah, I've had word from the hierarchy that you're not getting jibbed if that's the case. The launch of the Mizuno Pro TI 110 and 120 golf clubs with a titanium head was in which year? So titanium driver heads.
Crikey.
Steel for a long time. Wood for a long time.
Wood for a long time. Then steel, titanium. God, dear. That is a tough one. Gonna go early 90s.
How early?
90.
Oh, ding, 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 ding.
Really?
3 out of 3.
That was a sheer fluke.
That was just,
That was clutching at straws.
that's even to note, like, connect that model of club with a year is very, very impressive. Okay, 3 out of 3.
Can I go
Now,
I'm done.
this is something that happens not quite a lot, but it has happened a lot over the years. Non-contracted players winning majors with Mizuno irons in the bag. Brooks Koepka was one of them. He won his 3rd major with a set of Mizuno irons. Which were they?
They would be GAPX 900 tours.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
How proud of yourself are you?
I'm going to give myself a pat on the back in a minute.
It's the most excited I've ever seen Alice. JPX 900 Tours, that was it. Yeah, 3rd major for Brooks with those clubs in the bag. There's that. Is the one in the studio?
There is, yeah. There's.
Was it Erin Hills?
Could be.
I think it was.
It was, yeah. There's an 8 iron of his, I think.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
and the 5th and final question to get
Clean sweep.
a clean sweep. This is straight from the history archive, so if you've been on your own website digging up, you'll know this. Mizuno was the first company to use carbon in the woods. So Stealth, the Eli, Callaway, whichever one. Mizuno first. It was the Vanguard. But what year was it released? The Mizuno Vanguard wood. Go and check it out. It's a
Vanguard
beautiful looking wood as well. Like, it's old school.
Remember the Vanguard irons?
Do you?
Yeah.
Sounds like an insurance company, Vanguard.
Does, doesn't it? Yeah.
You a DHL driver? Do you wrap your van into posts repeatedly in icy weather? Why don't you check out Vanguard?
So titanium was 90. So gonna go 96.
Ooh. No.
No. Oh,
I'll give you one last guess. You're a decade early.
decade early.
Mm.
So 2000 and
Oh, sorry, you're a decade late.
decade late. So
Decade.
80s.
Yeah.
So pre-titanium.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. 86.
Ooh, 4 out, 1982.
What a year that was.
It was a stellar year. I was still not created, so the world was a darker place. 1982. Imagine that
Wow.
graphite carbon in your heads
Yeah.
back then. It
Yeah,
is,
that's-
like I
that's
say,
crazy.
go and check out that Mizuno history page. It's eye-opening stuff, and like I said, I didn't even know that until reading that the company actually started with baseball mitts.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise baseball was a big thing in Japan.
Huge.
Yeah.
Massive. Yeah.
They've
yeah.
they've got tournaments now, like
Oh,
that Mizuno have done. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting reading. So just pop over there and have a look at all that stuff. But 4 out of 5, congratulations.
bad.
That's quite good.
Thank you very much.
I got all 5 because I wrote the quiz.
There we go. Well,
Yeah. So
expect nothing less.
Right, on to the new product. So we're obviously here in London. We're at the M Restaurant, which is quite a cool space. We're down in the basement in one of the meeting rooms at the moment, but upstairs currently, the members' lounge of the restaurant has been turned into a Mizuno showcase for the M.Craft X putters. There's putting greens, bags, clubs everywhere. There's going to be competitions. Loads of people are coming. It's quite an exciting evening, and there's a Japanese themed menu, which Joe, the cameraman, has been licking his lips at all afternoon. But going through the products, so as we said earlier, 5 products that have happened. We started the Monday, I think, what was it, the 6th, the releases started? Monday the 6th is generally, it's always embargo time around January for, we've seen all the big companies like TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping have all released their drivers. No driver from Mizuno this year, but the first release was the JPX 925 Forged.
Correct. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about those.
I mean, it's much along the lines of the Forged in the past, but it's refined, slightly thinner top edge. You've got the multi-material construction there from 7 iron down. It's forged chromoly, and then from the way up it's 1025E. So you've got kind of a
mix of metals in there.
Yeah,
good looking out. We've tried them out. I've actually done. We had a fitting yesterday, and they were one of them that we were looking at. But there was also another set that took my eye, and we've had to go mixed, which is the S3, which was the second release, which is, I think, possibly the best looking Mizuno iron in the last 5 years. I would say the only ones that I think look better were the MP20, with the copper finish, which was Portrush, wasn't it, when they released? I remember being on the
2019,
which is obviously the opens at Portrush this year. But yeah, 2019. I think these are better looking than those.
Yeah, they're a very clean looking iron. I think you'll probably have noticed that the JPX Tour has moved from the JPX family, and that has kind of become what the S3 is. So there's kind of been a split in the Mizuno Pro line, that we're going to have a signature series, and then there'll be something coming next year. So the S3 is based off a 923 or a JPX Tour chassis, but very much harking back to what you probably last saw in an iron in a MP18 SC. So shallow cavity, very simple signature series. So there's not loads of bells and whistles. It's just very pure one-piece forging. I think a model that we've missed in our lineup for a few years, for kind of like certainly the tour players, to give options that we used to have a lot of free usage. That's kind of moved away a little bit, so we had a bit of a readdress to kind of grow that free usage again. Yeah,
it always like that one that we alluded to in the quiz there, the JPX 900 Tour that Brooks won with. I always thought it didn't fit with the JPX lineup, because with JPX, when you look at those, they've got a bit going on, haven't they? You've got different metals in there, the way that even just from the sort of aesthetics of it, when you look at the back, there's like badges that have been placed on there, the chassis that have been placed on there, and then that Tour, like that one, didn't have any of that. It was like that one piece, pretty much forged club, and there was obviously the shallow cavity to it, but it was like, well, that's really a pro iron, but with JPX on it. And I think adding that S line, like you say, is a little bit cleaner. And there was something I was reading up on the on like the release things, that is it after every 500 heads, was it, they changed the casts for them, because if you've not seen the irons yet, it's very clean. There's shallow cavity, and there's the little running bird logo, and that's one piece of metal, like the forging, and it's incredible how they do it. But after every 500, they remake the cast to make sure that running bird's perfect.
Yeah, the forging molds have a life cycle, so they'll have an atomized number of heads that we can actually make from that mold, and then that mold is basically redundant. The edges have gone. It's not deemed fit to continue production, so then we have to strike a new mold, and that's for every single head. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every individual head has an individual mold. Yeah,
it is precision, and like when you again, if you're on that history page and you see some of the stuff that how they do it, and the people that they work, like the master forgers and stuff like that. They're just true craftsmen, aren't they? And I think that's what that signature line just looks like, just pure craft and pure beauty. Very traditional in its loft as well, isn't it? It's, again, when you look at a JPX versus these, you like 3-4 degrees difference in some of the lines.
They're a traditional loft, so the same that we've had in our certainly 241 lineup. We have our traditional loft, and they're very much along that line. So the signature series is traditional, one piece, very clean looking.
Nice. They are a thing of beauty. Go and have a look at them. If you're not going to play them, just look at them anyway. Then it was the Mizuno T1 and T3 wedges.
Yep.
T1 I think just sits perfectly with S3, doesn't it? It looks very much, it's like an MP wedge.
Yeah.
And then T3, I wouldn't call it a game improvement wedge, but it's got a cavity to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got a slight cavity. Yeah, so it's still a one-piece forged, but it's got a slight cavity in there just for a little bit of help. Slightly higher bounce options, slightly bigger head. Previously, we've had a T series and an S series wedge.
Yeah.
And I think just bringing those two together under the T umbrella, that they're both teardrop shape, and making the Mizuno Pro, they sit in that family a little bit better. And I think feedback we've had is that the consumer has wanted a Mizuno Pro wedge brand for quite some time. So bringing those back in and launching it at the same time, I think is only going to be a good thing.
And I think the best thing about them is the fitting system.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know, and obviously, like, you look at, say, it's Voki have got the most grind options, haven't they? Grind and bounce. And when you go for a fitting with them, there's literally just hundreds of clubs made up.
Yeah.
As well, you've developed a system now where how many clubs can one head be?
Well, each head will deliver 2 different loft and bounce options.
So you've got 4 clubs essentially in one wedge. So I think that was always a pet peeve when you would go to the driving range and someone would tape a wedge up for you.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. Here's a club that's meant to spin. I'm going to put some tape on the face and go and see if that works for you. Or even just trying them out right, because obviously a wedge you're going to be, in around the bunkers a lot with it, so they will get scuffed. So generally, for the head pro or the retail shop that's selling them, they're not really going to give you a club that you can go and scuff up to sell. So it's quite a cool little system that. And is it chrome, black and blue? Yep. Blue?
Yeah.
I've just not for me. I know it's in the Mizuno colours, but just not for me. That one, I think, just the pure chrome and the copper last year was cool. Yeah, that was proper cool. But and then moving on from there, the fourth one was the ball.
Yeah, new ball.
Going quite well, isn't it?
It's been really good. Yeah, we've had pre-production samples that we've been testing with players, and performance has been really good. It's. I think people will be surprised if they try it. And again, bringing that into the Mizuno Pro line with the scripture on the ball, it looks
smart.
Really smart.
The best bit about them, $37.99.
There we go. Yeah,
it's a Pro V1 equivalent essentially, isn't it? And $37.99. It's well worth a try.
Definitely.
Because what is it, $47.99 now? Yeah. £50 for a Pro V's. TaylorMade's are similar. I think Callaway's come in under that, and Wilson have got a good run, and Strixon have as well, and they're sort of round that price. But 37, I reckon you see those in shops at $34.99. Probably
straight price eventually.
And it's, like I say, it's in a lot of the tests, it's up there with the Pro V1, but that's for you listeners to go and give it a go, see what you think. I think, like you say, having the Pro text on it now looks a lot better than just a big running bird. It just looks a bit more cleaner and a bit more upmarket, I would say, sort of refined.
Yeah,
probably.
I think there's probably I think consumers are maybe used to seeing script on a golf ball, rather than
just a logo.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, just be open-minded, give it a try. I mean, at that price point,
it's definitely worth it, isn't it? I think that's, like I say, for the price that all golf equipment's going to nowadays, it's worth just if you're an average to lower figure handicapper and you're, losing a couple of balls every every 2 rounds or something, you're saving yourself a few quid, aren't you? Which is good at the end of the day. But then the piece de la resistance, I would say, this was probably the product that I was most excited about getting my hands on when you'd shown me everything last year. The new putter range. Different technologies.
Very. Yep.
Not Mizuno-esque, I would say. It's something, when we think of Mizuno Pro line, one-piece forged, milled faces. Obviously, in the OMOIs, there was the little screw-in, screw-out weights, but it's still a one-piece head. As where this, different.
Yeah.
Which is the M.Craft X lineup, which is why we are here in the city doing things today. But talk us through it.
Yeah, it still speaks to our heritage and what we do. So, we have the face and neck parts. You have a double bend, you have a slant neck, and you also have a plumber neck. Now, all 3 parts are forged and milled, forged at Chuo. So you have the feel that we're known for, and this putter will very much play like a blade because of the front piece. And then we have the milled aluminium back pieces.
If you're listening, by the way, if you're on the YouTube and you head over there, you will see some of the putters as well. Them all sort of separated in parts when he's talking about this.
Yeah.
So we've got milled faced aluminium back, aero grade aluminium, and then we've got weights in as well. 3 different shapes. We've got 4, 5. That's 6, isn't
that's
it?
6,
The fang that has become very popular nowadays, hasn't it? That sort of number 7-esque like thing. But which is your go-to? What have you made up for yourself actually?
I'm quite a fan of the plum with the kind of the 4 square back. Yeah, you like the 4, do you?
Yeah.
That seems to.
Oh, you've gone plum.
Yeah.
I've gone other way. Double bend.
Okay.
With a little Sputnik at the end. But I'm also liking this combo.
Yeah. But that's the beauty, is that you're going to be able to buy the complete putter.
Yeah.
But then if you do like to tinker, you can go, I fancy the back piece.
Yeah.
And I fancy some different weights. And then I've got certain friends that have got a multitude of putters. I think I'm probably one of those as well.
I've got 25 plus, I think.
Yeah.
Just love tinkering. I think putters are so cool. They're sort of, they're quite like artsy, aren't they? Putters, like you can do a lot of design and they look different and they look funky. I never thought I've been putting with that number 5, was it, or 4, the OMOI, which is the moon sort of half moon shape. Yeah. And I thought, I would go for that, but actually this number 4, that's a little bit more squared off at the back. It's mallet head anyway, but with that sort of square and then the sloping back, it was.
Yeah, I think with putters, it's so personal that what you look at and your eye will be drawn to different parts of it, just because you like that half moon or circular mallet shape in something else. The proportions on this, the neck shape, it might not suit your eye as well, and depending on where the sight lines are and what your eye picks up, you'll genuinely gravitate to something potentially different. So I think that's the beauty of this, is that you have the forged, the milled front part, you have the different back pieces, you can change your weights about. It just gives you so many different options that you can, if you're a bit of a gearhead and a tinkerer, then
yes, you could have a play. And have you seen any adoptions yet on tour? Has anyone got into them?
Not as yet. No, we've kind of just sort of had these in now. So the guys will be working these with players kind of through the Desert Swing now, and then we'll have a stock on the truck. And putters is so personal. Tour players are the same as consumers. You walk into a shop, they'll walk onto the truck, pick something up, they'll go, "Oh, that looks nice," and then they'll go from there.
Do they change a lot? Do they?
Yeah, some will, some won't. You'll have guys out there, and you'll see them on TV that have had the same putter for God knows how long, and then you'll have other guys
literally who's had one for 22 years now. Yeah,
and then you'll have other guys that something feels different, and they just need to look at something different.
Yeah.
So putters and putting is so personal, I think, and so.
I think grip makes up a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like if you could put a new grip on the same putter and it feel completely different, and you get a new feeling from it.
Yeah.
As soon as obviously your only point of contact's in the hands, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like A, it's got to look right when you pick it up.
Yep.
And then B, if it feels off,
mm-hmm.
and you just go, like, if you're having a bad putting round and you say, oh, instead of going spending however much on a new putter, if you just went, oh, I'm just going to go and change the grip, it can have quite a dramatic effect. Can't just sort of.
Well, it's not so much hand position as well; it's weight of grip. So if you're going from a standard rubber grip to a kind of a Super Stroke-esque, which is going to be a lot lighter, you're shifting a lot of weight headwards, so you're going to feel the head a lot more.
Yeah.
So you will change the feel as well as the look and the hand position in it as well. So it's very subjective.
It isn't, yeah. And will there be any more additures to the back? Will there be a blade or anything?
Well,
coming?
the fact that these are 4, 5, and 6 might allude to there could be.
I didn't go to school, so
no.
We're struggling on the old 3s, year 7s.
Yeah.
So there's a 1, 2, and 3 coming then potentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What? So I would guess a small blade, big blade. Not a clue for the other one.
Okay.
More mallet-y?
Maybe.
What would you do mallet-wise? Where would you go? What is there? Well, you could do something funky, couldn't you? Like a spider-esque, like a two-bally morphed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you should do? Make it a running bird.
There we go. I'm not sure the MOI properties of a run bird on the back there.
Yeah, just get that past R&D. We just want a running bird on the back of this putter. Just keep it on brand, if you will. Okay, so there's going to be a 1, 2, and 3 at some point. That's pretty cool. Ah, right. I like that.
Yeah.
That means I'm going to have to change again now. More tinkering to come. So we've got, like I say, that is the lineup for this year. There's some releases later on in the year, but we won't.
Yeah.
We'll just tease you that there's some stuff coming later in the year.
Coming.
Yeah. Out of all of it, which do you think is going to be the biggest sort of release? I
think for us, the putter. I think that's going to be.
Yeah,
something very different for us. I mean, we've inherently been known for, single piece forgings like the S3. So I think that's very much returned to heritage. I think pulling the T1 and T3 wedges into Mizuno Pro makes a lot of sense, but there's still one piece forgings which we're known for. This is something very different for us.
Yeah.
We kind of looked at it a long time. We wanted to do something that was a mallet kind of high MOI construction, shape, but the issue was how did we do that, because we very much wanted to keep the feel and the forging and the milling on the face, but as soon as you make something that size, one piece,
it's a lot of weight.
Head weight is very heavy.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of, and hats off to our R&D boys that they kind of worked out that keeping the front piece as a one piece forged and then the aluminium back piece was kind of a real kind of light bulb moment to achieve what we wanted to do.
How long would it take, from you sat around the boardroom table and, someone says, right, we want to do a higher MOI putter. That's day one.
Yeah.
To date, final day of signing it off, this is what we are going with. How long is that taking?
I think we first saw prototypes maybe a year ago, and they're very rough.
1 year.
And then the R&D guys had probably been working on that maybe a year as well before that.
So 2 years, and you're
year and a half,
prototypes.
2 years probably, yeah. From product conception to thinking this is what we want to do or this is what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Dialing back from there is that's probably a year and a half to 2 years.
To get in the protos.
To get to where we are now.
Oh right,
start to finish.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of design work. The guys will create this in Creo and CAD, and then it'll be made, and then artwork, design work, finishing.
Must be weird for the R&D people, because thought about this with drivers. Obviously, you look at say ST Max now. That comes out, and I feel this way sometimes about YouTube videos. Sometimes, let's say January 1, it comes out 2025. But they had it done, maybe 2024 middle of, and it's and is that club comes out, they're already on, 26s now, and 26 is done. Like, look, let's look at 20, and it must be sort of a weird thing that just how did that launch of that thing that we did go a while back?
We laugh in the office with the product team is that we're delivering product now, like this week has launched last week, and we've got the launch event today. But then, I'll be in Japan in February.
Yeah.
And globally, we'll be discussing product that's coming in 2027.
Yeah.
And then it's a dial back that we've gone and discussed that. We've kind of...
You're like in the now and then
and
it's
the future. It's quite... Because this is new,
but what have we got for 20?
It's old. It's kind of like, well, that was back then. So it's quite... we have to work quite a long way ahead and almost preempt what the trend's going to be and what we want to do with product and what it's going to look like. And so, it's...
and would tour players have feedback on stuff as well?
Like very much
You'll
so.
Go to them, and when you get that prototype, you say, this is the putter that we're looking at. And they go, I don't like this, I don't like that, I like that about it, maybe change this.
Yeah, I mean, moving away from the putters to the S3 iron, that's got a different shape, sole on it that... There was extensive work that the R&D team did with players looking at turf interaction, how fast that went through the turf, because there was a feeling that some of our players struggled with our current sole profiles to go through the turf as they wanted. So it's a bit of a redesign to get that going through the turf. So there's a lot of player interaction and feedback and working with R&D. It's kind of full circle. Yeah,
it's a mad pro. Like, I'd love to document it from like ideation, day one to
Netflix series.
Yeah, here we go. Like, this is it, and like is it Atlanta? The new foundry's just been built as well, which is quite an impressive feat. There's not really much stuff out on it on the internet yet, is there? Really?
Not yet, no. So we've got a new facility at the Standard Club over in Atlanta. Where we're going to have our R&D facility, our robot. It'll be a tour player testing area. So the consumer will be able to go to that venue as well and have a tour level fit.
But Kingdom-esque.
Yes, yeah. And then we will subsequently rebrand Bearwood Lakes, where our tour facility is, to be the foundry at Bearwood Lakes. So we'll have the foundry on both sides of the pond. Yeah.
Love it. Love that. Right then. Moving on from there, you're going to tell us all the dirty, sordid affairs of every tour player. Spill the beans that you've ever worked with. But like we said earlier, you've worked for nearly 20 years now. It's going to be your 19th. Is it your 19th Open this year or 20?
Yeah, well, yeah. Missed one with COVID, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the 19th or so, when would that be? 2003? No, 2025. No, 2005, Matt, come on.
Yeah.
Who won the Open in 05?
Oh, God knows.
Tiger.
Was it? It was Tiger Woods, I think.
It was at St Andrews, wasn't it? Yeah. Because then it was Louis, and then it was Zach Johnson at St Andrews.
Your golf memory is pretty impressive.
Yeah, just a bit of a nerd. Yeah. But so let's spill the beans on some tour stories. You obviously you were in the tour. You're fitting golf clubs.
Yeah.
What are the players like? Are there crazy requests? Are the you're building something and you're thinking, well, you're the boss sort of, but this ain't gonna work.
Yeah. I think it's conversational point is you have to work with the players to understand what they're actually looking for.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they may not express that very clearly.
Forwards.
Usually, tends to help. But it's kind of impairing your knowledge and then also kind of trying to steer them of this is probably the best route of where it needs to be for the result that you want to end up with. So I mean, some guys are very clued up as what they want and what they need, very in tune with their equipment. Other guys are literally build it, I'll go and hit it.
Yeah.
So
which would you prefer to work with, like a Bryson-esque tinkerer, or just give me, I'll hit it.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
I would say. Yeah.
Who's been the most sort of thinking they're clued up like coming at you with all different kinds of. Well, I believe that if we change this, waiting if we move this over there, but then you're just, oh no, that's not going to work, buddy.
There's been a few. I'm gonna firmly sit on the fence on that one. But
plead the fifth.
Yeah. No, there's been some tinkerers over the years that have been nonsensical. You would say. But
has there been like one player that would change something every week?
Oh yeah.
How could you do I tinker a lot. Like I'll just because it's there and I'm like, oh, try this shaft, I'll try that, I'll do this, I'll do that, because it is there.
Yeah.
But I think if I was in a position where I'm playing for my living, it'd be like, well, I'll just get this is what works.
Yeah. They're all different. Everyone's different. I mean, one sticks out in my mind. I won't name names, but there was a major winner who won with a setup, and then the next tournament out, the full bag was in the workshop, and it was a full rebuild.
What won a major?
Yeah. And
then he changed his clubs he won a major with?
Yeah. The next tournament out, the full bag was in the workshop.
And was the course dramatically different?
It was... it was going from a links to a parkland, but that set had been working.
And he'd not changed them before then?
No. But he was a renowned tinkerer. Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I've just won a major, the greatest prize you can win in golf. Let's change all my bats.
Yeah.
And what's the strangest golf club you've ever built then?
Strangest? God, there's been some over the years. One that stands out was French Open. Yeah. Cool. Mid-2000s, I think. Mid to late 2000s.
Paris National
still? Yeah. Was doing some bits and pieces with Justin Rose. And he wanted, as he termed it, a shunter.
Shunter?
The rough was up.
Yeah.
So it was like something just to nudge it down.
Yeah, it's a brutal course off the tee when it's...
Yeah, and if you're not on your game and you're ending up in a rough, it'll beat you up.
Yeah.
So we played about some things, and we ended up with a 5-wood that was cut at hybrid length with I think it was a 103 gram Diamana blue in it, I think.
Graphite.
Graphite, really heavy but short. And I think we
would that go flat then?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just literally a bunter.
Just
out the rough.
Peg it up slightly or out the rough and flat off you go.
But that was an interesting one. We nicknamed that the Albrid for the week.
The Albrid. 105.
Yeah.
And what's like the weirdest bag setup you've seen out on tour?
Weirdest bag setup? Crikey. I mean, there was a period, World Match Play, Finca Courtesan. I think Sergio turned up with his irons, and he'd been playing around with counterweights in the butt.
So Super Stroke.
Yeah, and I think it was around the time. It may have been when they'd just first come out.
People will see them more in putters, won't they?
Yeah, but he had them in the butt of his clubs, and I think he was trying to, because he's very handsy, he was trying to slow his hands down, and he'd actually cut his clubs down, so his 4-iron was the same length, was the length of a standard 7-iron. So they're very short.
Was his 5 and 6 the same?
No, they were all cut. Yeah, they were all cut.
Everything was
all cut short.
So he pre-Brysoned, he went one length.
No, they were all still stepped.
Oh,
but it was just he'd cut that much off that the 4-iron was 37.25 inches long.
Right.
With a counterweight.
So how did that work out?
He was happy with it.
Do you ever find would you ever find that they're just sort of, well, if you're you're obviously going to give your advice and say, I think this is the best solution, this is what we're going, but they're just adamant that, no, I want this.
Yeah, and I think then it has to be okay, we'll build that, and you
see how you go.
You let the numbers do the talking, you can have the conversation, but if they're so far down the line that they are convinced that this is going to be the solution, it's like, let's test the theory then, let's try it and see. Yeah,
there's only so much you can do, isn't there, to try and work with them. And obviously, a lot of the fittings taking part on the driving range, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Will you go out? I mean, we walked. In fact, it was at St Andrews, wasn't it? We walked. Was it Laurie Cantor?
Yeah.
We walked with.
Yeah.
Out on the course. Does that happen quite a lot,
Yeah.
or do you get time where you'll spend a lot of time with the players away from the course to sort of go and play golf with them, or like watch them play 9 holes to see how things are? Because numbers are great, aren't they? But does it actually work?
Yeah, it's certainly part of the fit, and I think a lot of guys will swing it differently on the course than on the range. So I think you'll do so much to get the numbers correct on the range and make sure they're happy with flight, shot window to a level, and then it's out on the course, and maybe they'll go and play a few holes on their own, and you'll go and meet them up on the ninth and play, and walk the back 9 with them, and see it on course and see it in real life situations, because they will tend to swing differently and move differently and want to see it move differently through the air on the course versus on the range.
Yeah, and if you're just on the range, just hitting just dead straight.
Yeah, it's a bit one-dimensional. You need to see it in real time.
And from that, then, is it something where, obviously, like now in the age of information, I guess 2 things have changed. One, launch monitors for fitting.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to when you're there 19 years ago, 2005. There isn't launch monitors.
It was all eyeballed.
Was it just that looks like the right window?
Yeah, it was all eyeballed. I remember, crikey, when did the first TrackMan appeared? I remember having a competition with some of the boys at TaylorMade at the time, that we were picking ball flight, and you'd get between kind of 300 to 500 RPM by eye. Yeah, and you can pick a ball flight if it looks right.
Yeah,
it's gonna be near.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then with your TrackMans, your Foresights are all coming about. One of the things like data collection on course.
Mm-hmm.
So data golf, strokes gain, things like that. Would you delve into that side with your players as well? Have you got someone who's sat? We'll
tend to do that if there's a player that's particularly struggling, or they've asked us to have a look at it, or if you've just got you're
got some
inquisitive, you'll have a look at it and kind of maybe look at where they're struggling, and then you can have a conversation with them. Go, should we look at this and maybe try different things?
And that can lead what you'll fit them into then if they're oh, well, I want to see this with my driver. Well, actually, you start saying you're missing it right all the time. Maybe the X head might be better for you.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
Well, try it.
But look at it, see what's going on there. That's quite interesting. And there is do you get? I guess they're I think sometimes we probably put tour players up on a pedestal. They've probably all got their own insecurities as well, and also a little bit of I think we're all guilty that I hit my driver this far, and I always hit my irons like this. Do you get a lot of that on tour as well? Where you've got to sort of tread a narrow line, but this is look, the numbers are this.
Yeah, I think the players are more aware of.
Yeah, they're all
They're very clued up on the numbers, because they're doing it daily, so they have a very clear idea of how far they carry it, and they work so closely with the caddies as well, that they know carry yardages, so that kind of part of the game is infinitely more polished than potentially
the Joe public.
I think there's a lot of we'll see it at Bearwood when we'll have the public come in for a fitting, and they'll say, oh, I carry it this far, and you look at the numbers, you go, no, you don't.
No.
Nope.
No. Go and have a rethink. Which actually leads us, that's quite interesting, it leads us quite nicely onto our sort of next topic, Al. Our final topic. Fitting for amateurs. Obviously, you've spent a long time out on the tour range, and like you say there, with the pros, they're going to be more in tune with the numbers and what they're expecting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I think it baffles me. I've got friends, who, whether it's because of their sort of economic positions and what they're able to afford and things like that, that can buy what they want but yet they'll just waste money on golf clubs because they don't go for fitting. So it's what's the best golf club this year, and you go, whatever works for you is the best one.
Yeah.
And as well, like when you think of like Joe Public or Joe Average, the price of golf clubs are getting more expensive. The cost of living's going up. Like fitting for me now is like probably even more imperative because there's more data out there, there's more information, and if you're going to be spending more money, why not do it right?
Yeah,
so
completely.
Like, but then when we do maybe go for a fitting, it can be quite a daunting process, I think, for a lot of people. You know, is the fitter going to judge me? Is he going to laugh at me?
Yeah.
Are they going to think I'm absolutely toilet because I'm off 18? I only slice it, so I don't really need a fitting because I'm not that consistent. But I think, you know, it is for everybody nowadays.
Yeah.
Whether even if you're beginning, just getting the right length of golf clubs.
Yeah, totally.
But what should, you know, if you were advising people, let's say I'm going for a new driver, I've got £400 to spend, I want to go and get, you know, a new singing, dancing, and I want to hit it further. Like, I think carry's always the number that everyone goes in looking at, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are we going to advise the listener on?
Firstly, I would go in open-minded.
Yeah.
Don't just go in and think I need that model or that driver, because there may be something that you might not have thought of that would work for you.
Would you say research would add to that? Like, because I think a lot of times, depending on the retailer as well,
yeah,
certain clubs might get shoved in your face because they're, you know, the bigger brand or whatever it may be. This one works.
Yeah.
But if you go in as well saying, well, you've read up on, let's say, 6 drivers, 3 being Callaway TaylorMade, Titleist, the other 3 being Mizuno, Schricks and Wilson.
Yep.
But you might never get suggested a Wilson as well.
No, I think, just be open-minded, do some research. Don't go in with any preconceived ideas. I think we spoke the other day about flex. There's no industry standard on what an S flex, what a regular flex is, what an X flex is.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a fitting and you've been put in a regular, and you've been, I've always played an S flex.
I was guilty of that with what I was talking about there. I had my iron fitting yesterday. The video will be out next week, I think it is. And we did the DNA, which is a contraption that goes onto it is a built-up iron, isn't it? And it tells you just after 3 swings what shaft you should potentially be looking at.
Yeah. It's a great bit of kit because it narrows it down to 3 options. So I think if you're going in for a fitting, how many shots do you regularly hit when you play golf, or do you hit when you're on the range? Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you're in for a fit and you're hitting God knows how many different
50,
shafts.
100, yeah.
You're 150 shots in.
Yeah.
You don't normally hit that many, and you're absolutely shattered. And by the end of it,
yeah,
you're not going to be putting your normal swing on because you're knackered. So it gives you a quick route to find 3 options that are going to be very close, and then you can try those 3.
And I did exactly like you said, preconceived. Yeah. Well, no, because mine came out as an S flex.
Yeah.
As well, I've had X for the past 10, 15 years. Yeah. What? S? No. Yeah. I'm a bloke. Yeah. I don't need S. So it was, funnily, we've actually ended up on an X. It's something that, different, but I think there was that notion there, and I was probably reluctant to take it on board straight away. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, there's still a common misconception that, it's just all about swing speed. Mm. And, I swing it at that, so I need that. But actually, it's how you get there. It's not just the final outcome. It's how you load, how, we looked at your numbers, and you're a very smooth, progressive load. So you could actually get away with something a little bit softer and lighter, which would perform better for you, rather than something that was maybe a little bit stiffer and heavier.
Yeah. Think John Rahm versus Freddie Couples when we talk of load.
Exactly.
One looks smooth, one looks like barbaric almost in terms of speed and aggression in it, doesn't it?
Completely. And they'll both need those 2 tempos, and methods will need totally different setups.
Yeah, like you said, there's no industry standard, is there? So we've got go in with an open mind, do a little bit of research. Mm-hmm. Don't sort of fall into that blanket of stiff or regular.
Yeah. I think it's very easy as well certainly if you're going for a driver fitting and you're going, say, indoors, it's very easy to look at which one did I hit the furthest?
Yeah, just that number, isn't it?
And everyone does it because they want to hit it further. And you look at it.
Distance is a big part. Obviously, we're not saying discount. If that would probably be one of the top things to tick off, wouldn't it?
But I'd counter it's more probably consistent distance.
Yes.
Is you might get one that you absolutely button. It's your Sunday best swing, and it goes 10, 15 yards past everything else. But every other drive you've hit with that is off the planet.
I'll take it. We'll just pray for that one on the course.
You're playing 18 holes with a driver, praying for your Sunday best. The one you nut, doesn't come.
No.
Whereas the one that might be a little bit down on distance, but you've hit the centre of the fairway every single time, and it's consistently long.
Yeah,
not as long as that one.
Front to back as well, isn't it? You know, on those missed shots.
Yeah.
I think that was something we found in my Iron Fit yesterday. Like the iffy ones were 3 or 4 yards with him.
Yeah.
And okay, obviously there's always pilot error on some of them, but
of course,
dispersion's a big thing, isn't it? I think you see sort of stats out there like, it's better to be longer off the tee, which obviously it is, but if you're off the planet out of bounds, chipping it out the trees every time, that distance is pointless.
Yeah, and also, you're playing golf for fun. You're not trying to make a living from it, so that if you're in the trees all the time and you're a long way in the trees, great, but it's going to become boring after a while, isn't it?
Yeah, and expensive with losing balls, which is great because Mizunos are actually cheaper than Pro Vs now, so, But yeah, so open mind, a bit of research. Don't stereotype yourself into a certain shaft, and then dispersion. Yeah. I think sort of 3 things. If your fitter's not ticking those boxes for you, it's probably a bit of a red light, isn't it?
Yeah.
So hold on, can we look at this?
Yeah, and I'd also say do some research on who you're going to go and get fitted by. Find someone that you get some good reviews, got good reputation.
Yeah,
and then if you've got someone that you trust, and if you're serious about your golf and you're going to spend some cash,
that's it, isn't it? At the end of the day, it'd be like
properly
buying a really bad cheap suit versus going to get one tailored for
exactly.
you. It might be a couple of £100 difference, but you'd see the difference, wouldn't you? And
totally.
you'd go, oh well, they're both suits.
Yeah.
But you get the one that's right for you because everyone is different, and if you are going to whack out that money, it's imperative, really, isn't it, that you go and get the club that is right for you at the end of the day.
Yep.
And if you can do those 3 things like that, and if you sort of go in, if you note these down now, if you are going for a driver fitting, and if you think to yourself, right, the three things bar carry distance that I'm going to be looking for today is, have I done any research before I'm going in? Be open to, whether you've got to stiffen your driver at the minute, and the fitter says, well, regular's actually going to help you because, Nike versus Adidas, an 11 isn't an 11 in both of them. And then if you're looking at that dispersion, if you're let's call it an 18 handicapper, and you think to yourself, okay, well, I'm not quite as long as maybe I would want to be by 5 or 10 yards, but actually I'm on the fairway or just in the fringe every time, you're going to have probably a lot more success, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. I think we've ticked off some good points there. We've heard some good stories from you, and we found out a little bit about products, and you've also passed the quiz.
Oh yeah. Still buzzing on that.
4 out of 5. Let us know your answers if you were playing along and you didn't cheat. Watching you if you are. How many did you get? Let us know in the comments below. We're going to head upstairs to where all the shenanigans will be happening. Make sure you're checking out all the socials to see what happens in that launch event. There'll be some cool pics coming from there in little bits. But thank you for coming on, sir.
Pleasure.
We'll most likely have you back on roundabout open time. We're doing something cool at the Bushmills factory during the Open, so we might just have a podcast of slurring for an hour where we can't speak. But no, I'm sure we'll try and get something done at the Open and get some more little tidbits from Al, and hopefully prize some more tall stories out of him. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, like I said, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Matt Fryer Golf Podcast. Go and check out Mizuno socials as well. Leave us a review if you are listening on Spotify and Apple, and we'll see you next week.